connecting.
For you.
It worked.
I was
Oh
like,
my God.
what?
That was my worst fear, and it happened.
We were in such the zone too. Like our zone was unstoppable.
I know. I'm like sweating from that. I was like, what is happening?
All right, we're back. We are
I,
back.
I am so sorry that that happened, but here we are. That is show business, right? Like, just
It is.
that's
I roll with the
technology.
flow. No, and obviously technology is being so taxed more than ever,
I know.
but I'm happy to be here with y'all.
Yeah. I have
Vibrations are high.
a couple more questions for you, and I'm going to just remind everyone. We're talking to Alicia Keys about More Myself. Her book, it's incredible. It's out now. You can pick it up digitally. You can order it online. My dad is texting me right now saying that technology is
Yes, Dad.
but yeah, you can pick it up online. Audiobook, I cannot recommend. We were just talking about your friends that are a part of this book with you and them telling their stories alongside your stories. And you have some incredible people in this book. So I will just say the audiobook is a true treat. And I was reading the comments before we got kicked off and people saying that listening to you read is like their therapy. So that's pretty incredible too. I'm curious, you know, your your connections with people are so beautifully displayed throughout the book. How are you maintaining them during quarantine? Has it been difficult for you?
You know, I think that, well, I've been definitely getting my share of Zooms.
Oh yeah.
The Zooms are happening. I never used Zoom more in my life. I've been trying a few of those like family Zooms that, there's like 18 people on it. To me, it's just horrible. I don't know. I can't get with it. I don't know when I should talk. I don't know when I can speak. It feels a little weird. So I like seeing people's faces, but I often find myself feeling kind of not a part of it or outside of it a little bit. So definitely a good old phone call, a good old fashioned FaceTime, I've been writing letters.
I know so many people that have gotten back into snail mail.
Yes. And I like it. I like it so much because I feel like when people get it right now, especially because we're missing each other so much and we're wanting to see each other and hug each other and everything, like I think when you get the surprise of somebody writing you and you see their words and their handwriting and it feels really good. So I do love a letter.
Yeah, it's kind of what we were saying before of putting pen to paper. You miss that, and it feels so personal when you send it to a loved one, that you're taking that time to write them, and not just firing off a text, which is meaningful but can feel a little bit more substantial, I think, when you get that physical letter.
Yeah, me too. I love it.
I
love you guys.
I love this question from James on Instagram. What are you doing now that makes you really happy that you haven't done before quarantine?
Oh, you know what I'm doing? I'm drawing.
Really?
And I always thought that I was not a good drawer. Like I just would never try it because I'm like, I can't draw. Like I can barely draw like a circle, which is true. I'm honestly not good and it's cool. But I've found that I've been called to just try it. And when I do it, I really like it and it feels really good.
Mm-hmm.
And when I look at it, it's better than I expect.
Yeah.
So I'm actually a little bit proud of it. I really like that. And actually the Brooklyn Museum on their IG is doing some really cool things where they'll expose you to different artists and they'll kind of share with you the basics of that person's technique. And, you can kind of try to recreate a room in your house or whatever it might be. And it's just fun. It's something I really like. And I really like it doing with the family too, because I think another thing that's happening with the quarantine is if you're not on your Zoom or you're not on your, maybe you're on your phone or we're still so inundated with technology, which is saving our lives. So I'm definitely grateful, but there's still that thing of when you just kind of turn it off and remember how to just like be with each other that I really try to bring forth. So I've been liking to do that. They're rolling their eyes like, oh God, she wants me to draw a picture.
Somebody just commented too that it allows drawing. There's something about drawing that lets you release your inner feelings, which I think the theme of our chat today is pick up a pen and paper, you guys.
Yes, it really feels like pen and paper is the zone.
As we're doing this virtually. I'm curious, we talked a little bit about how you were kind of reliving, it was cathartic to relive some of these moments in your book. And you talked a little bit about losing your grandmother. Were there other parts that as you were reliving them, that maybe brought up emotions that you had to talk to the people it involved and kind of work through it almost therapeutically?
Definitely. There's a lot in there also about my relationship with my father,
right?
Which, I didn't grow up with my father. My mother raised me. She was a single mother, and they weren't married. They didn't really honestly even have a very long relationship. And so oftentimes as I was growing up, I was very, kind of just, I was looking for what I thought was how things are supposed to look or how things are supposed to be. And I think, we see all the fairy tales and we see the mother and the father and the child and they're all together with the dog. And, we assume that that's what like a normal relationship is or a normal family structure is.
Right.
And the truth is that family comes in all ways and all colors and styles and versions, and there's not one way that makes it valid or not valid, which I know now, but I was not always so understanding about that. And he also, my father, had a lot to grow through as well. And I think in a lot of ways my mother knew she wanted to have me, and I'm grateful that she did. I'm so happy to be on this planet. And she made the choice for her. And I don't know if he was necessarily would have chosen that in that circumstance. And so he had to come to terms to a lot of things, I think, and realize things as well. And so over time, we've definitely come to a place where we have gotten a lot more close, and we've become more friends and able to actually accept each other as two adults, as opposed to him having to have been a daddy to me or something. That we didn't really have that type of relationship. So, but I'm realizing that, and through the book, I think I share the difficulty of that, but also the growth that's allowed to happen in relationships, because so many times I think we just discount each other and we just write each other off. And I actually share this letter in the book that I wrote to him. And I literally asked him to please just don't be in my life anymore. And how would that feel? I mean, imagine, I can't even imagine how that must have felt now, putting myself on his side of it. But I think throughout the book, you're really able to see the growth of a relationship. And I'm really proud of that part, because I think we have to also look, sometimes relationships are not going to be something that you should hang on to. Sometimes they're very toxic and they're not good for you, and you should let them go, and that's fine too. You don't have to try to hold on to things that aren't good for you. And sometimes maybe that's a time it's not good, and then maybe it'll find its way through to the other side. But I'm glad that we've been able to push through and that there has been growth in our relationship, because that's how life goes.
I loved regarding the letter how he kind of opened that chapter with his reception of it. And I think that is kind of what we were talking about before, the beauty of including these different voices and these different perspectives, where it kind of, while this is a book of your journey, it is just as much other people's journeys as they lived it with you.
Right.
It was really beautiful. I had a question from before that I think we can probably close out with this one, because I know we've been talking for a while, but somebody asked that they said, I've been connecting with music a lot. What are you listening to now?
Man, that's a great one. And let me also definitely say again, for everybody who joined us for this conversation, I'm loving what you're talking about. I'm seeing you. Thank you for submitting these questions and allowing me to share with you the process and everything like that. I'm even wanting to grab a question that's just floating up, but for music, I'm also I saw somebody say we're ready for the Alicia album. My next album is called Alicia, and in so many ways it does take on the next phase of where More Myself left off. More Myself kind of brings us to this point now, And then the Alicia music is going to bring us to the next kind of conversation of identity and who are we and how do I and have found my way to just express more sides of that's inside of there, because we don't have to just be one thing, you know.
Mhm.
So that's been really powerful. I cannot wait for you to hear this music when I tell you it is the best music that I've done so far. Thank you for your love on Underdog. You really, I'm seeing it, you're loving it. I recently put out a song called Good Job, which is another one that, you know, y'all are responding to so well, and I love what it means and what it represents. So music, of course, is our root, it's our soul, it's our tree, you know.
Mhm.
And so uh what I've been listening to, just the other day I actually turned on Nina Simone, Feeling Good for the boys.
Oh,
And man, I was like, this song is so good. And Nina Simone is such a favorite of mine. I always find myself going back to kind of the classics,
mhm.
just because it's like so pure and so genuine. I really love that. I've been vibing on a new artist named Chica that I super love. I think that she just like so irreverent and she just lives in her whole world. I love how she writes. Last night on Swiss does this thing called, he just pops up and does this thing called Zone Radio. We were playing all of the Marvin Gaye instrumentals last night and just going crazy. You know, there's so much good music for sure that is just in the world, that I'm loving. It's a zone. It's a world. I love her so much. I love listening to just the way that she plays guitar and just kind of the vibe and the float. Anything that kind of makes me feel comforted, right? I need like
Mhm.
soul food. I need like comfort, to be reminded that we're going to be okay
Right.
and things are going to continue to go forward. And that really helps me a lot. Somebody actually, so that to me, that's what I'm listening to. So I kind of go back and forth. I'll take it back to some classics. I'll be forward to the future, just whatever feels good.
Yeah. Well, I will just remind everybody that you can get More Myself now. And I think everyone is going to take away a lot from this book. So I would recommend people just to continue the conversations, because there's so much to kind of learn about yourself as you read about your journey, Alicia. And people can buy it on digital, the audiobook, which I've talked about a lot, but is really incredible. There's music on there too, which I think people probably are so excited to kind of find out that there's songs and
Yes.
you know, it's got everyone, like I said, it's got everybody on it too. And then you can also order the book. So please make sure to pick up More Myself. And Alicia, thank you so much for talking to us. It's obviously so many people love the book, and I'm so glad that we got to talk about it.
Man, I'm so grateful to you
Yeah.
too, and keep shining. Thank you for all the energy you're putting into the world and that we're eating up and reading up and just giving us. Really appreciate you as well. So happy that we could have this conversation. And
Me too.
thanks to everybody who sent in questions, and we'll be doing more and just building more to your point. And so much love. So
Yeah.
let's talk soon.
Yes, and I love how the book ends with "to be continued," because that is exactly what's happening. So we will
That's right.
continue this, and I thank you so much, and stay safe and healthy, and thank you again, and we'll talk soon.
You too. Lots of love, everybody. Talk to you soon. Bye.